It seems as though it'll be redundant to say good morning again since we've had so many, but since I haven't had a chance to say it yet, good morning. Good morning. I'm deeply honored to be here today and thank all of you for joining us. It's been a long journey with Basil, and I've not met him until just about 20 minutes ago. We've been working long distance, and truly it's been a privilege to watch the organization come from a seed in his mind into what it's become today. We have a fascinating and informative program ahead, as I know all of you are aware, or you probably would not be here. But before we get started, I have a few thoughts that I'd like to share with you. We humans tend to see ourselves as being made up of flesh and blood, bone and sinew, maybe a drape of clothing and a hank of hair, buffeted about by conditions out of our control. We think of one another as ordinary, just specks in the masses. But then comes along a Gandhi, an Emerson, a Mother Teresa, a Mandela, an Einstein, or a Buddha. And the world is rocked back on its heels again in awe, unable to believe that these individuals are made up of the same ordinary stuff that we are. But this is a form of blindness, for in reality, the words and deeds of those whom we admire and venerate mean nothing if we cannot understand them, and we could not grasp their meaning unless we were already equipped to see the truths that they teach and make them our own. We are much more than we think, facets of the same radiant gem. But this isn't always readily apparent. Case in point, this past May, the Wall Street Journal published an op-ed piece that was co-authored by U.S. National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General McMaster's. One sentence stood out. It read, "The world is not a global community, but an arena for nations, non-governmental actors, and businesses to engage and compete for advantage." Fortunately, we now know, just because someone is in a position of power does not mean that something they say is so. I invite you to look at the other people in this room and think about what it is that you see. When I look around into your faces, I see strength, beauty, resilience, kindness. I see humanity. And each of us has a story that started us on the journey that led us here today. 30 years ago, I was invited to assist as a liaison between industry and indigenous peoples who had hazardous waste and old munitions contaminating their land. I was young and humbled by the prospect. Then on the way home, the car in front of me had a bumper sticker that read, "If the followers will lead, the leaders will follow." I took it as a sign. So I did the work and later went on to serve in the field of conflict resolution and stabilization in fragile states around the world for the UN, various governments, militaries, donor agencies, and a whole alphabet soup of humanitarian organizations. Roughly a third of my time was spent in meetings with host nation leadership, arms dealers, ambassadors, traffickers, armed forces command, religious leaders, drug and warlords, mission directors. We learned a great deal from each other, and I believe that we achieved some good. But what left an indelible mark on me was what was happening outside those halls, the time that I spent on the other side of the window glass. There, everyday people, often living in the direst, the most dangerous of environments, without a functioning government, only intermittent access to food, clean water and fuel, under continual threat, set up their market stalls, planted their crops, cared for their children, tended their animals, carried the wood. And despite working these long hours every day in desperate circumstances, they found ways to work together to help themselves, their neighbors, and most remarkably, strangers. In big ways and small, they continue to chip away at some of the world's most insurmountable, intractable of problems. They share what they know and what little they have with others displaced by war, by power brokers, by social upheaval, and even foreigners from abroad who are trying, often ineptly, to help. Their tenacity, generosity, creativity, and hospitality is unmatched. They and their diasporas are the most valuable of teachers. Like you, they light each other's candles, banishing the darkness, lacing the world together in light. This is the nature of global community, and the Wall Street Journal can quote me on that. I'd like to close by paraphrasing Dr. Ernest Holmes from 1931. Find the world to be good, every man and woman an evolving soul. Reject the lies that separate us and become endowed with a power, a peace, and a poise that unites us into wholeness. That's it for me. Thank you so much. I look forward to learning from all of you while I'm here.